right. Hello, everybody. This is your host, Alex Valgood. And today I am really excited to have this person with us today. Her name is Michelle Morales. Sorry. She's an award winning professional salsa dancer, school psychologist, activist, and speaker. She guides people to embody their freedom through movement. Michelle has dedicated her life to advocating for Black, Indigenous people of color and folks with the marginalized identities within the school system. She incorporates dance in her social emotional curriculums to help students build self-confidence and learn effective problem-solving skills. She is passionate about helping parents, professionals, and educators lead with compassion and integrity when working with students with disabilities and social emotional needs. Welcome, Michelle. That was quite a curriculum. That's awesome. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Yeah, but it was important to mention everything that you do for the students and the community. So I was happy to go all over that. And today we're going to be talking about movement and how it's important to everyone and process of healing, right?
Yes.
And so let's go back a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a psychologist and how you have incorporated movement to everything that you do.
Where to start? Okay, a little bit of myself and how I became a school psychologist and how I incorporate movement in everything I do.
Yeah.
So I became a school psychologist after doing quite a bit of research on what I wanted to do when I grew up. I explored many avenues, including selves and teaching and dance. I exposed myself to different careers before landing school psychology as an option. The biggest, or more like the primary reason why I enjoyed going in this career and chose it is because it felt like it was such a great way for me to advocate for Black and Brown communities. Because it puts me at the table in making decisions that really impact the future of our Black and Brown communities. So that's really why I wanted to do it. And then on top of that, there was perks. There was like summers off, good pay, things that I was like, if I get pregnant, if I get married. So I was really just, so I was really thinking of everything, but primarily I really wanted to be a voice and an influence for the community. And I feel like that was like the perfect role for me. So that's why I chose school psychology as a career. As incorporating dance, well, I come from a lineage of dancers. It's a part of my lineage is medicine, and dance has just always been a part of my life. And been such a healing tool for my own journey. I grew up with quite a bit of adversity, personal and systemic, and dance has always been such a great way for me to just stay connected to my joy, stay connected to my imagination and possibility. I feel like it's also being an entertainer and a dancer is something that comes very natural to me. But it was always my escape whenever I felt out of alignment or whenever I was making decisions that just had me in abusive situations. Like dance was my, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, if I wasn't dancing, there was something wrong. So like, and if anyone, like ex-partners, I have a history of domestic violence. So like, I knew that dance, once like my partners were jealous of me dancing, like I knew I had to go. because dance is like what kept me whole. Um, so because of that, I decided to really bring that naturally to my communities. As a school psych, I brought my dance program to schools. I've always been a teacher. I just love teaching and dancing and finding ways to use it as a way to transform lives. So that's what I have right now.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think uh, teaching is a great tool to help others with, in whatever it is that you're teaching. It always brings kind of like the best out of whoever you're teaching, and the teacher, like even the teacher keeps like learning through the process. And I
Right.
love that you use dancing, right? People always say dance like no one's watching, because in reality no one's watching, but we always feel like observed or judged or things like that might, that will affect us in the long run. And I think especially I feel really exciting that you work with kids that are at a point in their life where they can change and heal whatever they're going through, and give them a base to become good people in our communities. And
Mm-hmm.
how have you find that dance changed maybe some of your students?
Um, I was just talking about this with my best friend actually.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've noticed that I hold just really near and dear to my heart is seeing, first of all, how dance can really bring people together,
Mm-hmm.
in spite of our differences.
Yeah.
I just really love the natural social emotional gift that dance gives to communities, right? Like, because you get to learn, especially if you're dancing with a partner, you can learn about conflict resolution, you can learn about so much. And that's what I see with kids, especially when you have someone who's trained, who can see these gifts within dance and use it as a tool to teach social skills, to build community, to teach a new way of seeing yourself in the world. I think it's such a gift to the community to give. So that's how I've seen it in my community. When I dance with the kids, I see so much. It gets so many. It excites me and makes me emotional.
Yeah.
But one of the because I just love it. One of the things that I see is when I notice someone who's so reserved, right, with like potential like social anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
with self-confidence, self-esteem difficulties, and when they choose to gift themselves with dance to come out of their shell, you know,
Yes.
uh, I'm having big feelings around this. So
It is a big thing.
it's a big deal because when you're suppressing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much suffering in that, right? And when you I feel like we're brilliant human beings, and when you figure out for yourself what to do to come alive, and you choose art, whether it be movement or music or rapping or singing, like it's just beautiful to witness, right? So for me, I find so much joy to be able to witness and that in my kids when being that I'm a school psychologist, I see them in the classroom, right? And I see their learning and how they show up with their friends, and they're quiet and reserved or even isolated. And then when I remember when I brought dance to the school, one of the kids that I work with decided to join, and I was like, what? Like, in my head, I was like, he's so reserved. Like, I am so pleasantly surprised. This is great, right? And he's so committed, quiet in the back, learning. And the mom was just very grateful, but he wouldn't share many of his words with me yet. But he was committed, and he learned the dance, and he was like, I'm gonna go out there. And he went out there. He danced, and I was just like, oh my God, like just seeing that. it's a gift for me. The building a community with parents, like for me, what I love the most is when I organize with parents on like the costumes, the fundraising, the, you know, telling them about how they can support their social emotional learning on what, based on what I see. Like, it's just a whole thing for me. So I'm kind of like nerding out, but that's how
Yeah.
I see the benefit of dance with kids. It's like building their self-confidence, building their sense of self-worth and belonging. And because I deeply, deeply care about these things, I am grateful to be able to offer it, and be in community with people who want to co-create with me, including the little ones.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think you touched in a really good point, and I was glad you kind of like went all over those details because I feel that a lot of people, I mean, you're a dancer, I'm a dancer, but and then we feel like everybody else is a dancer, but you know how many people you go across your life that you know that they have never danced or they afraid to dance or move, right? So there's a lot of people that don't understand that actually dance is more than what you could see on TV or in a video of people like showing off. You know, it's more than that. Actually, at least for me, and I know you share the same feelings. Dancing is uh, finding oneself, helping others. Dancing becomes such a healing method for a lot of people, right? Whether it's on purpose or just you know kind of like it just randomly appear in your life.
Right.
And the more you do it, I think the more people understands a lot of things that it's not just about like, oh, I'm gonna do physical activity, but it's really really going deep inside through how you're feeling about the music, how you're moving your body. It goes from like almost the physicality of it to actually this very emotional and deep part of the healing that dancing does with like everybody that continues doing it. And I feel like not just like the people that, oh, like, you know, they're taking classes or whatever, but I feel like even, you know, like, I don't know, my uncles and my grandparents that love to dance, they didn't take classes for it. You know, they just did it because it was so much fun that it brought them joy. It brought them, as you said, community. It brought them like the neighbors. Oh, let's, you know, we're having a birthday party. Let's, you know, let's dance. You know, it's, you know, my grandparents will be like, oh yeah, I make your grandma on the dance floor. You know, like at a
Yeah.
party. I mean, there's so many things that actually dancing conveys within just the movement and all these experiences that we can go through the dance. And then so that comes to mind, like I know we're talking about not just dance and what dance does physically for anybody, but um, how you have seen dancing help with mental health and with your kids or your groups or when you're teaching.
Yeah. Many, I have so much to say around this. I'm organizing my thoughts. You know, when I think about mental health, I'm gonna speak specifically to the things that I struggle with myself,
Mm-hmm.
which would include like depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. What else do I struggle with? Oh, I definitely have health complications, but the point to this is that these are common, right, in our community, especially in our Black and Brown communities. And it's, I feel like it's you know, with the adversity that I grew up with, from personal to systemic, there's been like a deep, deep sense of like a lack, not even a lack, just feeling worthless, you know, feeling like I don't belong in the world, feeling like I am unlovable, unsafe. And I feel like that causes mental health complications. So that's why it was relevant for me to bring it up.
Yeah.
And I see that in our communities, our Black and Brown communities are I feel like the world in general because of our systems, but I'm specifically speaking to our communities, where I feel dance brings joy, right? And like sometimes, while talk therapy and many other methods can help with healing, I feel like dance just really provides a moment of joy without you having to like think through it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it does give you a sense of, like, when we're speaking of depression and anxiety, like even social anxiety, right? The fear of being judged by others. Dance can also give you a sense of not only belonging, but of confidence, that it's okay to express yourself in the ways that you express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, aside from there's like a lot of formal talk around like how dance heals trauma and things like that. But I feel like at the core, it depends how you use it, but and you know, with the somatic healing and stuff like that. But the way that I've used it and the way that I use it in the community is like the joy piece. And then the way that I use it as a tool for you to stay connected to your power, it's like your power of choice, right? Your power of
Mm-hmm.
choice, the power of expressing what you have and who you are in the world. All of these things matter in your sense of freedom and autonomy in the world. So for me, I feel like that alone can be supportive to supportive in helping you heal your mental health, right? Along with whatever other supports people use to support their depression, or not support their depression, but yeah, support their depression. So that was a little wordy, but I feel like dance can just be a tool, an added tool to support mental health, with joy, with community. The ways that I particularly use it when I go in, when it's like intensive, is like
Mm-hmm.
noticing the stories that you tell yourself about yourself, and creating space to create new stories, more empowering ones that are more in alignment with who you want to be in the world, right? Because I had quite a bit of self-hate for my color, for my expression, for who I generally was in the world. So dance just gave me so much perspective and insight on how I was punishing myself, how I was shaming my body and who I was, and how I was in deep guilt for my own expression and my own brilliance and my own difference in the world. So I feel like when you have access to that, it really makes your mental health like what mental health, like, you know, it's kind of like you're just like in your essence being human. And even with mental health, and when I say what mental health, meaning like it's not a bad thing. Sometimes you just, you know, I embrace the fact that I go through episodes of depression, because those are my moments where I find more answers of what I need to continue to be and become in the world. And dance was such a tool for that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, dancing definitely, it's not only just fun, but once you like do it over and over, you do find that that, you know, when you're dancing, you are in that moment.
Right.
Like that's one of the really cool things that dancing brings to us, to anyone that dances, whether it's professional or whether it's doing a show or at your birthday party with your parents or whatever. It's just such a joy. Like really, you are in that moment, and we all need more of those moments.
Right.
We take so much time thinking about work and school and you know, whatever. As you say, some people feels like hate to themselves. So all this bad image uh, that's happening with, especially with kids now, that they have so much access to like filters and things like that, that they create a fake image of themselves. So yeah, definitely being in the moment, being in a community, being with people that loves you, just do things in general that makes you feel joy. I think they're great for mental health. And I know one of the things that you've done is the Dance Warriors program.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Dance Warriors has evolved. um, I want to start off by, I started Dance Warriors because I saw how powerful, just the power in dance and the power of community. And one of the reasons why I actually started, I was gonna like just move into like what I'm up to now, but I'm gonna take it back. One of the reasons why I started Dance Warriors is because there was a lot of things I didn't like in our dance community. And by didn't like, meaning it's just, it felt harmful to my sense of dignity and humanity in the ways that, like, I love the community and the togetherness, but I also, there's a lot of, like judgment and, you know, the competition just creates so much, conflict in ways that separate us in the community. There's quite a bit of shaming for I noticed shaming for the ways that you express yourself. There's a lot of cliques. There is a lot of just the exclusion of difference, you know, there's certain things that I deeply care about, and I'm not okay with anything that feels dehumanizing.
Right.
And I didn't know how to be in that because I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about that. Besides, I'm naturally a fucking leader. So like, I was like, I'm going to create a different way of being in this dance community. And that was hard because I felt very isolated and alone. But the reason why Dance Warriors came about is because I wanted to pretty much dismantle and deconstruct our internalized oppression. And I wanted to do that through movement. And I wanted to build my own community of, at the time, women that were willing to look at themselves and look at the ways that they show up, and create new ways of being together, and embracing our differences and our way of expressing, and just really stepping into your freedom and whatever that meant to them without me imposing what freedom was. And that was hard because I wanted women from all shapes, sizes, colors. I just wanted to build a different world within through Dance Warriors. And in that, I had to like also heal my own stuff in the ways that I lead, because I really believe in leading with integrity and with love and with ways that really bring liberation to the collective. But I also had to see how I am perpetuating that. So through Dance Warriors, I was able to see like, oh, fuck, like I'm on some shit too. Like I'm over here judging everyone and I'm doing some stuff that I'm not okay with. So there was like so much opportunity for learning. And it just took me on a journey where I'm like, whoa, because it was about like self-love and like embracing yourself. And it just really challenged and held up a mirror for me to step up my leadership and really be not only a model, but really lead in ways that felt with an integrity, with humanity, you know? So that was the purpose of Dance Warriors. And then now I've evolved it into Freedom in Motion Dance Academy, which I've been meaning to launch, but because I struggle with my own mental health and I have other deeper issues that I want to tackle within the school system, I'm having to I've had to take a step back and really meet myself where I'm at and what I want right now. But Freedom in Motion is pretty much another dance program that evolved from Dance Warriors. And it's another way where I'm also supporting our Black and Brown communities to stay connected to our power, our dignity, our brilliance, our difference, create community. And it's just more evolved with everything that I've been up to in the world. So a lot there.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think when you started Dance Warriors, it was very impactful for dancing community. It was pretty cool to see that there was someone out there. I know in any, probably people that are listening to us, they're like, what kind of dancing community you guys are talking about? But, bottom line, whatever dancing community you belong to, and we're talking over here about more of the, um, constant people that are striving to be professionals, or that they're doing shows. And that's pretty much what we're talking about, in case you got a little bit lost over there, which it happens in all communities,
Communities.
whether it's Latin or hip hop or breakdancing
Yeah.
or any type of dancing. Once it comes to that professional level, when you're competing with your peers, um, when you're actually getting paid for shows, when you're getting paid to travel around the world or doing workshops and all these things, yeah, there is a point where, as any other job, right, it's kind of like, sometimes people are there for themselves, and it shouldn't be, because you know I heard one time someone said that, we always want a piece of the pie, right? And people are being very crazy about, like, let me get a piece, but they don't understand that there's so many pies out there. We don't have to fight for just one. There's so many possibilities. And we as humans, we thrive so much on working together. And I think we forget about that. And I think that's when um, issues like how we look, how we express ourselves, how people now, they kind of like isolate themselves with their friends and think that they're the good ones or whatever. But just in general, I think we should definitely keep our possibilities open to anything. We shouldn't isolate or segregate ourselves because we're taller or leaner or wider or more flexible or whatever it is, right? So yeah, so personally, I was really pleased with you bringing these to our dancing community and showing us that, kind of like bring you at that point, brought us back to our roots, and to tell us like, hey, this is what we dance for. Besides the bling bling and the customs and the shows, dancing, we have this power within. We move masses. We teach classes. We are in such a touch with our community that we shouldn't just do it for ourselves, right? If we have a gift, we are kind of like responsible to share it to others, help others with mental health, help others with whatever it is that we can do, especially with, in this case, with dancing. Um, I love that with Dance Warriors, you told us, look, this is why we dance. We dance to express ourselves. We dance because we love it. And
Mm.
it's me emotional too. But yeah,
Aw,
I
thank you
think we
for sharing
we
that.
do, yeah, we do need a reminder that dancing is you know such an amazing thing for anyone, and you don't need to be professional to do it.
Big
This
one.
is this is um this is just one of our many many tools as human beings to heal ourselves. So
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to add more to even like because I was particularly interested like but why? Because I kept on saying
Hmm.
like why do we end up in this type of culture, right? So I stepped out of
Hmm.
the salsa community thinking it might be different elsewhere, and I noticed it like you mentioned,
Yeah.
this type of culture or this type of way of being with the competition, with the judgment, it happens in every community. So it sent me under another like rabbit hole of like, but why? Because I'm not willing to perpetuate the same culture. I'm not willing to lead in the same ways because I felt like there was also such like hoarding of like power. And by power, I mean like authority or influence within the communities. There was such a hoarding of even your teachings, like, you know, because it's so competitive, and it really, like, you have to be unique, right? Like, so that you can get hired. And so there was such a, like, a hoarding of, I can't teach you what I know unless you're willing to be my protege, you know? And if you're not willing to be under me, then, or next to me and praise me as your teacher, then you don't get to be successful. So I was like, I'm not the one, okay? Like, I pretty much teared it all apart because I wanted to serve with more integrity. I wanted to dance with integrity. I wanted to dance and be a leader that really pushes us forward and not feel afraid. I didn't hate feeling punked. So for me, it was like, I don't want to be a leader who's afraid of sharing my knowledge and my wisdom. No, I'm willing to lead and really push, like, especially in our community, when we're speaking of like the starving artist concept, right? Like, I'm not willing to do that to my friends and to my people, to my family, to my community. I want to learn everything so that I can pass it on, so that we can really create successful careers out of this, not where we have to like depend on other people's following or influence to eat. You know, I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I really like looked at everything as a whole. I saw like a lack of resources and information for me to be successful, because I got into school psychology, but one of my calls is to dance and to change systems, really. But to dance. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it in a way. I just felt like I'm going to starve. I'm going to end up poor. Cause that's like the story that that a lot of us like look up to and get inspired by. Like, I was poor one day and dance helped me and I became rich. Like, that's, you know, so for me, it was like, really, I want to challenge this. So I still challenge it till today, but Freedom in Motion Dance Academy, my goal with that is to lead other artists into successful businesses, into ways that they want to show up with their wisdom, because we're all born with our own gifts. And I really want to be like a catalyst of that. So I have like really big goals, but I've been doing my own work to get to that, you know?
And you have to, when, you know, talking about just, I know we're talking about just one specific scene at this moment, but I think it just happens in every industry and every work. And I think we see it, you know, with people that kind of like get a little bit big within their career, whatever it is. And I think they stop working with integrity or love or whatever it is. And it just comes down to our fears and how we are, you know, how we were raised, how we're afraid of failing or not doing what we need. And we think that by sharing our knowledge, I do apologize for that anyways. my neighbor just suddenly decided to build their house. Anyways, so anyways, hopefully you hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. I wanted to add, because I went on a tangent, but I wanted to add that we were all born into an oppressive culture, right? And that for me is like at the core, aside from fears, like at the core, we were born into systems that put us against each other. We were born into systems that that teach us how to dominate, oppress, control each other. And a lot of us don't have, I'm going to take that back. We were born into these systems. So it's important for me. It's important to systems that really disregard our humanity and dignity, right? So that along comes with like the fear, right? But at the core, this is what we were all born into. So in order for us to change the culture, we have to practice something different. If we want more joy, if we want more connection, and my mentor, James Olivia and Nick Strack, these are two amazing individuals that have really supported me and given me so much insight on what is at the core of these things, like why? Because I was just more like, why it exists in every community. I'm seeing a threat everywhere for me, because it felt like a threat, and just unsafety and so much more. And I really wanted to learn why. And I feel so blessed to have gifted myself with communities that have really giving me insight on like what's going on at the core in our in my humble opinion, and allow me to create a different practice without disconnecting. And because I did disconnect from the community for a while, but without making people bad, like, oh, because they do this, now they're bad, and I'm better because I have a different way. Like because we're born into systems that really put us on hierarchies and teach us how to devalue certain people, I was just like, I'm not willing to do that. And so I had to like really look at myself in the ways that I was perpetuating systems of oppression and racism within every community I was in, so that I can practice something else. And it's still a lifelong practice for me, but I do want to mention that it goes beyond fears for me. It goes like, what were we born into? What do we need to do something different, you know?
Yeah. And that's the choice, right? That we all take, whether, as I said, whatever industry you are, whether you're a dancer or, you know, on the stocks, or a teacher, a nurse, or whatever. Yeah, because these things happen in all careers, and we should definitely make a change, and that change starts with ourselves. So that is great. Is there anything else you want to add to our awesome conversation?
Let's see. Oh, yes. I like to add, I'm so excited. I like to add that I will soon be launching Freedom in Motion Dance Academy. Yeah. I like to also add that I am going to be launching my Patreon page, or profile, or platform. I'll be launching my Patreon platform soon. Hopefully by this weekend, where I'm in the midst of using my personal story and experiences to influence and inform social emotional practices for our Black and Brown students and educators. Okay. So I'm gonna launch a way to just compensate myself as by like providing to the community, but also like receiving support of any sort, but including financial support, so that I can take this vision and this thing forward, because I can't do it by myself. And I'm gonna start reaching out to other communities. But it is challenging the shit out of me, because it's really requiring me to anchor into my own a lot sense of self-worth, a lot of stuff. Anyway.
No, that's great.
Yeah, so I just want to mention that, because I will be asking the community for support, whether, like I said, whether it be financial or just connecting me to people that can help me further my mission, because I'm also advocating for myself as a Black school psychologist, but I am sharing my story to influence the ways that our culture within the school system. There's so much of that going on already. This is just like my personal agenda that I feel could be of great service to our communities. So
yeah, for sure. I think it will be, and I think it will be amazing too. If anyone wants to support you with all these projects, look you up and see what you're doing, where can they find you?
Yes, Instagram is a great platform where I'm usually there. So it's MI Morales 09 on Instagram. Also Facebook, but I really don't go to Facebook, go to Instagram. Or you can email me at, that's where I put all my updates. I rather just be true to that. Or you can email me at also mimorales09@gmail.com. On Instagram, you'll be able to see in my bio, I have a YouTube channel that I have not consistently showed up on, but I'll be sharing more there, which will also be a part of my Patreon platform and all that good stuff. So those are the two places for now.
Yes, that's amazing. And I will put also her information on the show notes. So if anybody wants to support her and follow her, whatever it is, please do so. I will put that on the show notes. Thank you again for all this information. Lastly, I want to say, if you have not danced or taken a dance class or whatever, just turn on the radio today and start. It's going to make you feel happy. It's going to make you I don't know, it's gonna bring so many good things to you, even though it feels silly or whatever. Just get up and do it, right? And if you want to connect with me and hear more of my episodes, you can always find me at alexvalgood.com on Facebook and Instagram. You can also go to my service page at alexvalgood.com. Thank you all for listening and have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you.